I found the phone by accident, which is the only reason any of this ever came to light. I was looking for a phone charger in the back of my wife's closet, moving aside a shoebox that had been sitting there for months, and it slid out from underneath a folded sweater. A black phone, cracked screen protector, a case that wasn't hers. My hands were shaking before I even turned it on, because some part of me already knew that whatever was on that screen was going to change my life forever. My name is Daniel. I was 34 years old, married to Rachel for almost 9 years, and up until that afternoon I would have told anyone who asked that we had a good marriage. Not perfect, but good. We had a daughter together, Emma, who was 7. We had a mortgage, a dog, a routine of Friday pizza nights and Sunday morning pancakes. I worked long hours as a project manager for a construction firm, and Rachel worked part-time at a dental office while taking care of most of the household. I trusted her completely. That trust was about to be tested in a way I never imagined. The phone had no lock screen password, which felt almost cruel in hindsight, like fate wanted me to see everything. The first thing that loaded was a text thread with a contact saved simply as Mark. The messages went back over a year. I sat down on the closet floor and started reading, and within minutes my chest felt like it was caving in. Mark was a man Rachel had met at a work conference. The messages started innocent enough, jokes about co-workers, complaints about stress, but they shifted quickly into something else. Compliments. Late-night conversations. Photos I wish I could unsee. And then, the words that broke something inside me completely. Rachel had written to him, "I wish things were different, I wish I had met you first, being with Daniel feels like going through the motions now." I did not confront her that night. I want to be honest about that, because I think a lot of men would have exploded, screamed, thrown the phone across the room. I understood, sitting there, that if I reacted emotionally I would lose any chance of protecting myself, my daughter, and what I had built over almost a decade. So I closed the phone, put it back exactly where I found it, and I started paying attention in a way I never had before. Over the next few weeks I noticed things I had been too trusting to notice. Rachel started taking longer lunch breaks. She began locking her phone with a code for the first time in years. She started dressing differently on the days she claimed she was running errands. Every detail confirmed what I already knew, but I needed more than suspicion. I needed proof that could hold up, proof that mattered legally, because I already understood that whatever came next was going to involve lawyers, custody arrangements, and our shared finances. I hired a private investigator, a quiet, methodical woman named Carla who came recommended by a co-worker who had gone through his own divorce. Carla did not need much time. Within 3 weeks she had photographs of Rachel meeting Mark at a hotel near the dental office twice a week, always during her supposed lunch breaks, sometimes staying for nearly 2 hours. Carla also pulled financial records that showed Rachel had opened a separate bank account 8 months earlier, one I had never seen a statement for, and had been quietly transferring small amounts of our joint savings into it. Almost $6,000 over that time. I remember sitting in my car outside Carla's office after she showed me everything, just staring at the steering wheel, feeling something strange happen inside me. It wasn't rage anymore. It was clarity. I finally understood that Rachel had been building a second life, quietly, patiently, while I had been building our family. And I decided right then that if she wanted an exit, I was going to make sure it was on my terms, not hers. I want to be fair to Rachel here, because this is not a story about a woman who woke up one day and decided to destroy her family for fun. When I eventually sat down with a therapist myself to process everything, I came to understand a little more about how these things happen. Rachel had grown up in a home where her father left when she was 12, and she carried a quiet fear of being unremarkable, of disappearing into a life that nobody noticed. Mark had made her feel seen in a way she said I hadn't in years. That does not excuse what she did. It does not make the $6,000 she hid, or the year of lies, or the affair itself acceptable. But understanding her motivation helped me see clearly that she was not a monster. She was a person who made a devastating choice, and choices have consequences. I met with a family law attorney named Patricia, and I laid everything out, the photographs, the bank records, the messages Carla had also managed to document through a subpoena once we filed. Patricia explained that because we lived in a state that considered marital misconduct and dissipation of assets during divorce proceedings, the hidden money Rachel had transferred could work heavily in my favor, both for the divorce settlement and for establishing a stronger custody position, since it demonstrated a pattern of deception. I filed for divorce on a Tuesday morning, the same day Rachel had once again told me she was going out for a work lunch. I had already moved a portion of our joint funds into a protected account on Patricia's advice, perfectly legal, fully documented, simply securing what was rightfully mine before things became messy. When Rachel came home that evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table with the folder from Patricia in front of me. She saw my face and immediately asked what was wrong. I slid the folder across the table without a word. I watched her open it, watched her face drain of color as she saw the photographs from the hotel, the printed messages, the bank statement with the hidden account highlighted in yellow. She started crying almost immediately, saying my name over and over, saying she never meant for it to go this far, that she had been unhappy and confused and it had spiraled before she knew how to stop it. I told her calmly that I understood people make mistakes, but this had not been a mistake, it had been a choice she made again and again for over a year, while hiding money from our family and lying to my face every single day. I told her the divorce papers were already filed. The months that followed were difficult but clean, because I had done everything by the book. Rachel tried at first to fight for more time with Emma, but the documented pattern of dishonesty, combined with the hidden financial account, weighed heavily with the mediator. We settled on a fair custody arrangement, with me having primary residency and Rachel receiving standard visitation, since I had never once tried to weaponize Emma against her mother, no matter how angry I felt. Financially, the outcome was more than fair. The hidden funds were returned in full as part of the settlement, and because of the dissipation of assets, I retained a larger share of our home equity. Rachel ended up needing to move into a small apartment across town, while Emma and I stayed in the house she grew up in, with her room untouched, her school the same, her friends the same. I wanted her life disrupted as little as possible. As for Mark, I later learned through a mutual acquaintance that his own marriage had fallen apart around the same time, once his wife discovered the affair independently. Rachel and Mark's relationship did not survive the reality of two shattered families and constant financial and emotional strain. Last I heard, she was living alone, working extra shifts to cover legal fees and her portion of the settlement, watching from a distance as I built a stable, peaceful life with our daughter. I do not tell this story out of bitterness anymore. I tell it because I learned something important that year, something I hope stays with anyone listening. The worst thing you can do after discovering betrayal is react immediately out of pure emotion. The most powerful revenge is not shouting, not sabotage, not cruelty. It is patience, documentation, and using the truth itself as your weapon. Rachel built a hidden life expecting it to stay hidden forever. All I did was make sure the truth finally saw daylight, and let the consequences do the rest.